Hello guys, welcome to the next session of developing e-commerce application from scratch using Angular and Spring Boot. In the last session we discussed on how we can set up our Angular and Spring Boot project. So if you just remember, in the last session itself we have used some GitHub repository to set up our Angular and Spring Boot project. Those GitHub repositories were contain the code for JWT token and role based authentication mechanism. In the last session itself, I just discussed why I am using the GitHub repository and how I save my time using those GitHub repository. So before watching this session, just go through my previous session having the title as setting up Angular and Spring Boot project, and then only you can continue with this session. In this session, we are going to see how we can rename our Spring Boot project. In the next session, we will see how we can rename our Angular project. So reason why I'm renaming the project is because if you just go to the projects that we have cloned or used yesterday from the GitHub. So if I just go to my YouTube folder, and inside this we have e-commerce app folder. Inside this e-commerce app we have two different folders. So the first folder that we have is jwt-youtube, which is our Spring Boot project. The second folder that we have is jwt-youtube-ui, which is obviously our Angular project. So the problem statement or the project that we are currently working on is e-commerce application. But if you see the project names, those are like jwt-youtube. So these problem statement and name of the project doesn't make any sense. So that's the reason I just want to rename these and make it more sensible. So let's first of all see how we can rename our Spring Boot project itself. So first of all, let me just come back to my IntelliJ, and on the left hand side, if you see, the name of project is jwt-youtube. So the very first thing that we have to do is to close this IntelliJ completely. So let me just close this IntelliJ, and let me just come to my folder where my project is stored, and let me just rename the folder itself. So I just want to use the name as, let's suppose, e-commerce hyphen YouTube, like this. So e-commerce hyphen YouTube. So this name makes more sense to me, so I'm just using this name. If you want, you can just use any other name as well. And now let me just hit the enter. Now we have to open the IntelliJ, and we have to open this a folder that we have just renamed. Now if you see, jwt-youtube is not accessible to us because it is now changed to some other name. So we have to open this new project. So let me click on the open, and let me just select the projects. Inside this we have YouTube, inside this we have e-commerce hyphen YouTube. So let me just select this and let me click on open. Now it will open the e-commerce hyphen YouTube project in our IntelliJ. The next thing that we have to do is we have to change the package name as well. So if I just come to src, inside src we have the main, inside main we have the Java, and inside again if you see we have the different packages. So the topmost package that we have is com.youtube.jwt. So again I just don't want to use this JWT, instead I want to use e-commerce. So let me just click on this package name, let me just right click, and let me just use option that is refactor. Let me just use rename inside it. So over here it is asking me like whether you want to rename the directory or you want to rename the package. So I want to rename the package, so let me select that option, and let me just use e-commerce instead of JWT. So my new package name will be like com.youtube.ecommerce, and rest of the things you can keep it as it is. And if you are using STS or Eclipse, then steps will be exactly same, there will be no any difference. So let me just click on refactor, and it will just take some time and it will automatically rename this package. Rest of the packages, whatever we have like configuration, controller, DAO, whatever packages we have, we should keep it as it is because those names are sensible names. So that's why I don't want to change those names. The next thing that we have to do is we have to change these name of the main class. So we have to open this JWT YouTube application class. Inside this JWT YouTube application, we have the main method present. So in whichever class we have the main method present, we say it as a main class itself. So we have to change name of this main class. So let me just right click on this class and let me just use the same option, which is refactor. Let me just click on rename and then let me just give it as e-commerce application. So let me just use e-commerce application, and rest of the things, like whatever options we have, you can keep it as it is. And let me just click on refactor. And again, it is asking me like whether you want to rename the test as well. So I just want to rename the test. So just select that file and let me just click on OK. Now it will just rename our main class name, and it will also rename our test class name as well, if you see. Now these class name changes looks good. The next thing that we have to do is we have to just go to the pom.xml file. So if you see, we have the pom.xml file, so we can just open this pom.xml file. Now over here also we have to change few options, like few names. So first of all, let me just tell you which option we have to change. So over here on line number 11, if you see, we have a group ID, and group ID is basically a com.youtube. So for us, com.youtube will remain as it is. We have to change our artifact ID. So instead of JWT, we have to use e-commerce. So let me use e-commerce. And this e-commerce I'm using, if you see, like inside my package name, we have com.youtube.ecommerce. So over here, com.youtube will be group ID and e-commerce will be our artifact ID. Next thing that we have to do is we have to change this project name. So we have to make it as e-commerce-youtube, like this. And if you are wondering where I can just see this, if you can just see this into this left hand side section on the topmost, we have e-commerce-youtube. So we can use exactly same name here as well. Then we have a description. So if you want, you can just change the description. So let me just give the description as like APIs for e-commerce application, like this. So let me just save these changes. Now rest of the things we don't have to do anything in it, so we have to keep it as it is. Now if you see, we are getting one small symbol on this right hand side, so which is basically saying that you have changed a pom.xml file, so we have to update the Maven as well. So inside IntelliJ, you will get this option. If you are using STS or Eclipse, you will not get this option like icon over here. So what we have to do is, you have to just right click on the project, and then over here you will get one option of Maven, like this. And then you have to just click on maybe the similar option that you will get, like I'm getting reload project over here. The similar option you will get inside your STS or Eclipse as well. So you have to click on that option, or maybe you will get one option like update the project or something similar. So you have to just click on that. As of now, let me just click on this update or load Maven changes project, and let me just wait for a couple of seconds. And now the steps are done, and we are done with every single steps. So now the only thing that we have to do is we have to just close this IntelliJ, and we have to just reopen our project, so that whatever the changes that we have done, it should get applied properly. Now every single change is done. The only thing that we can just do is we can just run the project, and we can just see whether our project is getting executed successfully or not. So over here I'm getting one message like started the e-commerce application, and over here it is specifying the port as well. So my port is 9090. So if you are getting the same messages like port number, and finally if you are getting the message like started the e-commerce application, then every single thing is done, and we have successfully renamed our Spring Boot project, which is our Maven project. So these are the only steps that we have to follow to rename our Spring Boot backend or Maven project, that whatever you would like to say. So I hope you got like idea how we can rename the project. I hope you will not face any issue to rename these, because this is very straightforward process. If you still have any questions, let me know into a comment section and I will try my best to help you out in that case. In the next section we will see how we can rename our Angular project as well. So I hope you enjoyed this session and I'll see you in the next session.